Hey folks, so today's the day I'm going to double up these videos because I'm behind. The rest of you doing a great job. I fell behind a couple of days. That's okay. It's okay. Anyway, so this will be number 13 of 30. Got a little ways to go, so I need some content. I mean, hell, I rebuilt a guitar, put stuff up about the band, rehearsal, showed some flowers. I can show more flowers. We've got a lot of nice flowers. But I think I'd go into a little bit of the, there's some stands rolling around in the back, go into a little bit of the history of the life of Rick Romanelli, if any of you care to listen. But putting that guitar back together sort of brought up a lot of old memories, and bands that I played in over the years. I started off pretty young. I was probably about 9 or 10 years old when I very first started playing in a band, and it was unusual, but my best friend his dad was a guitar teacher, and we lived down the street from this kid who had a set of drums, and his dad was a musician and he had a PA system there, so it was a natural fit. So we decided we would put together a band, and called ourselves Fragile, because we knew we would call our first album Handle with Care, So anyway, it was the three of us for the longest time. It was me, my best friend Pete, who sadly passed away this year, earlier this year. So I'm going to put up some sound clips of Fragile playing. I just have to find a cassette player. But we were together for a few years until I was about 14, and that was like our culture, was that band. That was what we did all the time. We would have band practice, and we would go outside, and ride bikes, and we'd come back and have band practice some more. And we got a little bit older, we'd smoking cigarettes, having fun, whatever. We'd go camping. I talked about going camping by the railroad tracks. So it was me and Pete and Pierre Davis. He's a good guy. I'm Facebook friends with him now. But what a good time we had. And this was back in the time when I didn't have a good guitar to play. I had the yellow guitar, but it was really in a state of disrepair a lot of the time. I was always trying to finagle it back together one way or another. I didn't have money for it, and my parents didn't have money. So I had that, and I had the Bradford 12-string, which was really a 6-string, because I only put 6 strings on it. And that guitar was another POS, but it got me through. And then I played bass in the band for a while, and so there was this weird bass that we had. It was red. It was covered with like Tolex, I guess is what it was. It was like vinyl, and it had like a sort of a perloid strip around the side. I forget what kind it was. Maybe it didn't even have a name. And I remember that the fingerboard had peeled up, so the fingerboard was arched up in the middle, and the strings were so high that it still played, but the bass was terrible. But I remember I played that bass. That was my job in the band for a while. And then after a while I just started playing guitar again, and we got another guy to play bass. So that was a fun band. We played for our 7th grade talent show. My 7th grade talent show, because we went to different schools. Pierre was about 3 or 4 years younger than me, and Pete went to a different school district. So we We played at my 7th grade talent show, which was a real scene because right before the show started, you know, I was excited to be in a show and I was up on the stage and I was a kid. So I did this like knee slide under the back curtain on the stage, and I went under the curtain and I went to stand up, and somebody had put a piano there, and I hit my head. I remember right here, hit my head on that thing, and I was like, that hurts. And I didn't think much about it until I walked backstage a little bit, and then I started to feel it was wet, and I looked and my head was bleeding. My mom was there. She looked, and I guess there was a little short gash on my top of my head, and I was growing a little egg. And she's like, "We'll have to take you to the hospital to get stitches." I was like, "No, you're not doing that, because we're gonna play." I remember we played Stairway to Heaven, probably badly. I played bass and sang. And remember, I was in 7th grade, so I probably had the range for it. We also played I'm Not Your Stepping Stone by the Monkees. And then I went to the hospital and I got 4 stitches in my head. That was a night to remember. And then the following year we played my 8th grade talent show, which was great because, you know, by that time I had a bunch of friends in school. They were into it, and we played Crazy Train, which was a pretty new song. I don't know if it had just come out or come out the year before. 8th grade, I was 14. That was 1983, so it's 2 years before, I believe, that Crazy Train came out. So we played Crazy Train, and we played, there was this girl in school, you know, everybody had a girl in school who was a great singer, and this girl, Debbie Goodrich, also a Facebook friend of mine, she sang, she wanted to sing, and she asked, you know, will your band back me up when I do a song in the talent show? And we were like, yeah. She said, because I want to do Hit Me With Your Best Shot. And I was like, oh, cool. So we learned Hit Me With Your Best Shot, and it went pretty well. I actually have some recorded footage of this somewhere. I have to find it. And that'll be great. I'll upload. I'll get it onto my computer, and we'll play it. I don't know what I'll show video wise. Ed only likes to see things, see people play. He doesn't like to just listen. Anyway, I don't have any footage of us playing it, Ed, but it's gonna be very cool. So I'll put that up. And that's, we also played 2 times at the Pittsburgh Three Rivers Arts Festival. We really weren't good enough to get into that, but our drummer's dad, as I said, was a musician in the area, and he was, and I believe he still is, like a department head at the University of Pittsburgh, and he had a lot to do with the Three Rivers Arts Festival and the music for it. And so he got us into that, and we got to play there on a small stage the first year, which was cool. He got a guy to play bass and keyboards for us, one of his students. Probably offered him extra credit or something. So this guy came and he played bass and keyboards for us, and he also taught us, I think, 2 of his own originals, so that he could perform his songs too. And we were pretty good. We could learn this guy's originals, and so that happened. And then what else? The second year we got to play on the big stage, which was really cool. We had our own bass player by then. And I remember we played Rainbow, Street of Dreams. That was the kind of stuff we were into back then. Oh, and we played Heaven and Hell by Black Sabbath. Good times. But that's when that band kind of split up after that. We didn't play much more after that. We still hung out, Pete and I, but we didn't play in a band together anymore. It's when we both went to high school, you know. And kids change a little when they go to high school. They start to get a little more centralized around the people who they're with all day, and their whatever is their their social situation there. So that's the story of Fragile. I will do what I can to get. I don't think I have a working cassette player anymore, but I'll do what I can to get those recordings up on YouTube. All right, everybody. So this is vlog number 13. That's good. That means tomorrow I can do number 14. Yes. And we'll talk about a couple of my other bands, but I also want to talk about my father and what he did as a musician. He was a great musician, and he played for a lot of pretty famous people. So, excellent. All right, everybody, peace to you, peace, and talk to you later. Hi, it's Rick. It's almost midnight. I've been rooting around down here in my office for like 45 minutes, and I've looked through every crevice of this room, and I cannot find the cassette tape that has Fragile live at the 8th grade talent show. I know that it exists because I just listened to it probably last summer. So I'll have to look again tomorrow. But I mean, I've gotten to the point where I've looked through every drawer, some of them 3 times, knowing that it's not there. I'll just go look again. And I've looked under all the furniture. I've looked in every crevice, every little basket, every little spot on a shelf. I have moved. I have pulled drawers out and emptied them. And I've checked those drawers again. I've looked everywhere. I looked under the dog's bed and uprooted the dog from where he was, and he was very upset. I cannot find that cassette tape anywhere. Good news is I found every other cassette tape. And so I have a cassette tape of the band that I was in when I was 18, and the band that I was in when I was 22, and the band that I was in when I was 25. But the band I was in when I was 11 or 10, yeah, I cannot find it. I cannot find it. So, you'll take my word. If I find it, I will post it. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.